you saw Hurry Up Tomorrow, and you
Yes,
called it the greatest movie that has
I
ever
I
existed.
I will tell you one thing. People need to pay attention to that title. It says "Hurry Up Tomorrow," as in they need you to hurry up and go see this in the theater tomorrow. Ignore that message 1000%. You do not need to hurry and see this movie. If you decide to see it, you have an option of waiting until it is available on digital. But I mean, if you want to see, if you are a weekend fan and you like music videos, you will probably love this movie. Obviously, Jenna Ortega is in it as well. If you like her, then maybe you will like her character in the movie. But honestly, this is a nothing more than a glorified weekend extended music video. That's all it is. Uh, but hey, I know they had some messages in there, but no, absolutely not. That is. I will say this. I don't know if it's the worst movie that I've seen this year, but it definitely is on the list of bad movies that I saw this year. I just don't know where it's at yet. I have to see more movies to determine that number. So we'll revisit that conversation in the future.
It only made $1.7 million in box office so far, so I think
Oh,
that might be
okay,
the agreement that
that's good.
it's not good. And I guess I'm not sure, but like, yeah, it really broke my heart that it was terrible because I like Jenna Ortega and I like Barry Keoghan. I
Yeah,
think he's
they're
great.
great. They're great in the
And
movie, but it really is. I mean, they are good in the movie. I think they've been better in other movies, but it isn't really. It's not really anything special about it because it's not an original concept. It's just the crazed fan that loses her mind and wants to take this guy hostage, which she does. And there is an underlying theme to it because obviously when the movie starts, he is trying to get over um, a bad breakup that he had of someone he left behind, an ex that decided to get rid of, block him. He can't call her, none of this stuff. He tries to call her, she doesn't respond. So he crashes out. He's supposed to go and perform on a tour, and that does not go well. And old boy Barry Keegan's character tries to get him, tell him, "Hey man, you got people here to see this tour. You need to go out there and perform." And at the same time, he has vocal issues, so he decides to go out and perform. And when he goes out and perform, he does a horrible job. And he sees Jenna Ortega's character in the audience, so he decides to just outright leave the performance altogether. We know certain people who have done that, where they either show up late to a performance or they just decide to leave. That's what he did. He leaves and he decides to go with her, spend out a night out, just doing other things, having fun, going different places. And then I will say one thing about it though. This guy, not a great actor, but very funny. Very, very funny because like that night that he's out there with her, obviously he's having the fun. He says whatever to keep her happy, like, "Oh, you never have to leave. You can always be by my side." And this is what triggers this stuff in her head. So then when he wakes up the next day and he has to go back, he's back to reality. Okay, yeah, I got to get back on the road, go on this tour. And she's like, "Wait a second, where are you going? Am I going with you?" No. And then the way he looks at her and talks to her, he acts like he's crazy. The expression on his face when he looks at her like she's crazy is hilarious. I would give him that. That was a hilarious reaction and expression. But that's all it is. That's all it is. So after that, she knocks him out. He wakes up. She has him tied to a bed. And the other thing is there is a particular song that he hasn't released that he plays for her the night before that she really has a strong connection to, and she loves the song so much. So ultimately, to free himself in the future, because he's there for a little while, he sings that song to her, and all of a sudden she forgives him and lets him go. There's a little bit more to it. And by the way, when Barry Keegan's character does show up to his hotel, she kills him. There's a scene where she actually stabs this guy in the neck. That was a very brutal scene to watch. That was very brutal scene to watch. That very physical, very violent. But yeah, so he dies. She goes off, gets away, burns down the hotel, the room of the hotel room they were in, because she is an arsonist as well. That's important. And then that's it. But yeah, there's nothing special about the movie. That's my review of the movie. So if people still want to see it after they've heard it, but ultimately it's like it's a misery movie, but it's a music video of The Weeknd's his greatest hits. He has a new album. He's singing his new songs in there. This is all this is. This is to sell an album that he is releasing. And that song, one of those songs is the song I think they had at WrestleMania. So it's like, yeah, of course. You know, I don't like when they have The Weeknd music at WrestleMania. So that's why I said, okay, I was wondering what song I was going to hear when I saw that movie. But that's all that it is. But pretty much that's all it is. There's nothing special to it. I'm sure that stuff like that does happen. But that movie cemented for me why I never want to be a celebrity and popular, because they have way too many issues, way too many problems, way too many things that they can get wrapped up in. And they don't handle any of that stuff well. So I'll be glad to stay just an average person, no celebrity whatsoever. So, but yeah.
And to also add to that, there was an expose that was conducted by the Hollywood Reporter. This is remember when The Idol came out? That was that awful HBO show.
I believe we both saw that show. We both saw that show.
Yeah, we never covered it. Oh gosh, but yeah, it was terrible. I mean, the worst acting ever. It was terrible. But part of the expose, you know, this was actually based on a true story. Well, not inspired by a true story, where The Weeknd lost his voice one day and he couldn't perform. And it wasn't because he was sick or anything. It was because of the sheer stress of everything. Why he lost his voice. So going back to this is the fact that it is, you know, they conducted an expose stating that the movie was in post-production for a year because no one wanted to buy the movie, because that should be an indicator of how bad it was. And yeah, it was just not very good at all. She said that there was no interest. This was the expose. Expressed no interest, and you know, nobody really wanted to do anything about this movie. So interesting. But in 2025 of April, The Weeknd clarified that the film was conceived and developed. See, people are like, oh, it's just to sell the album. He's stating that it also was created before the album even was developed. So many people are like, oh, it's just a get me, you know, gotcha kind of give me your money situation shit. But he's saying that that is not true at all. And that it was produced and completed during the film's post-production and scoring process. That's when the album came about. So yeah, it's sitting at no money at the moment. They had preview screenings where it was, and this is also kind of according to the box office report, that, you know, it was released the same time as Bloodlines, which we just talked about. It was expected Bloodlines is expected to gross like $5 to $9 million on just the opening weekend. Remember, these movies will cost like $50 million. So you can gross like $9 million. Mm-hmm.
Only $9 million? I think they could make a little more than that, but I guess you know,
they can make more than that. But at the moment, they're sitting at around like 5 and change. Remember, it's only It's only today's actually Friday. So like previews. Remember, that's previews are Thursday. Okay. So it's like just preview, you made like $5 million, and you can easily recoup that money. Especially it only costs $50 million. This movie that you're talking about right now, the Hurry Up Tomorrow, is an indie made for only 17 million. The thing is that it only recouped 1.65 million from the preview screenings, which was 1.3 million on Wednesday and a cool $350,000 on Thursday.
Oh wow. Well, I didn't go to see it. I mean, I saw it on Wednesday, so I guess I am a part of the one people that saw it, you know, the fan event they had on Wednesday. So yeah, very interesting. It's not going to make that money back.
No, and this was the reason why it stood out so much for a lot of people, was it originally sat at the Rotten Tomatoes score of 0%.
Uh-oh.
And remember, that's the one when I messaged you and I was like, you have to see this movie. That's
Oh yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
But
That's
now it is.
oh no, go
It
ahead. What was
moved
you gonna
up.
say? But now what? Oh, it
No, I
did.
was
What,
going
so
to
what
say
is it now?
now it moved up. So after 49 critic reviews, it's at a cool 14%.
There you go. That's
Also,
good. And the audience score, is the audience score on there as well? They have an audience score of what the audience says.
it says
Audience
as
score might be
the
better.
assigned the film score of 30 out of 100
Okay, there you go.
based on 20 critics.
Well,
Yeah, and the average rating is half a star.
so I will say this: the director of the movie, he did the movie Waves. I like that movie. I like the
I
way he
love
shot that
Wave.
movie. I like the cast that he had in that movie. So I figure they at least had a good decision as far as the director for this project. But again,
Mm-hmm.
unless you are a Weekend fan, I would not recommend you see this movie because it's not really anything special that you haven't already seen. Like I said, I've seen other movies similar where there is a fan that goes psycho and tries to take advantage or take hostage of somebody who they consider an idol. Those are way
Mm-hmm.
better movies. This is okay. And again, it is about reflection. We know The Weeknd has had all types of issues with drugs, alcohol, stuff in the past. It's kind of like a bit of a study on him coming to terms with getting rid of that stuff, mistakes that he has made. So it kind of is a bit of a self-reflective piece. But in my opinion, it's nothing different from anything I've seen. But obviously, if somebody is a Weeknd fan, then yeah, they may want to check it out. But as someone who respects The Weeknd, I think it still was not worth my time. It was not worth my time. But hey, it might be worth your time if you're a Weeknd fan. So don't listen to what I said, but definitely check it out if you are a fan. Go support your artists.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. If this is you love The Weeknd, go and see The Weeknd. I hope you enjoyed it. But Gary Richard said it is soulless. He said, "Do not watch this. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
garbage
yeah.
juice."
I do stand by that. I've seen way better movies this year than this. So that's why I say, because I am an AMC A-list subscriber. So I go to the movies almost every week, and I've seen way better movies than this. That's why I'm going to be very harsh with this one. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, so that is our thoughts. At least we can find laughter within its horribleness. But yeah, that's just kind of been our thoughts on the movie of that has a 0% score at the time of Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, is there anything else that you want to mention? Anything that you're working on?
Well, right now, I know we just covered Power. For those of you that want to check out our Razor Canyon review, check that out for sure. I would encourage you to do so. I appreciate that. I am working on a couple of other things on the gaming side. So stay tuned to the Koalition Gaming. There's a lot of things in the works. And as for other things that we'll cover in the future, there may be a couple of the upcoming films we will check out. That's to be determined because, yeah, it's to be determined. But yeah, stay tuned. Definitely, I would encourage you all to leave your thoughts on the movies that we discussed. If you have any thoughts, I'm there. I will be very curious to hear your thoughts on both of those movies, though, because yeah, I'm just want to know if people are checking out. But I strongly recommend Final Destinations, Bloodlines. I do not recommend Hurry Up Tomorrow. So that's what I will say. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Yeah, so we had Final Destination. I have already seen Mission Impossible 3 times.
Oh,
Um,
whoa, uh-oh.
so happy for that one. And then we do have Lilo and Stitch is coming very soon. I do see it next week, but we have Lilo. I'm excited for Lilo and Stitch. I don't have Disney, which is a shame. But I am excited for Lilo and Stitch right
Hmm.
now. So we have Lilo and Stitch coming. There are other. There's a movie I cannot legally at all talk about, but yeah, I saw that one as well, and we have more stuff coming down the pipeline that is in the pipeline as well. So playing movies and TV shows, and the Emmys are around, and I did coverage for the Raising Kanan, hopefully kind of an Emmy consideration event. And we have just posted cheerleading. If you like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, they have their own reality show on Netflix. I went down to that event, which was interesting. It was an interesting event to go to. But if you like yourself some Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders and you want to learn about them, go watch America's Sweethearts on Netflix, which is their reality show. And we talked about season 2 as well. So we have that coming up, and we have a lot more other stuff that is coming up. And we have an interview with Miss Angela Bassett. I'm just waiting for my files to be returned to me, but we do have an interview with Miss Angela Bassett as well. So that has kind of been everything on our thoughts on Final Destination Bloodlines. Go see, hurry up tomorrow, run away from is what Gary is saying. Not Gary, Richard is saying. So that has
Yeah. Yep.
been our thoughts on those two movies. Thank you, Richard, for allowing me to bum rush you about Hurry Up Tomorrow, and we'll see you soon about other stuff.